Well, hello pressure washing world. I promised you guys an update on my large trailer setup. And so this is, where are we at? We're at October, about the middle of October 2022. So this is kind of where we're at right now. We'll walk around and take a peek. I used to have hose reels on the right and the left. I decided to stack them to make room for a soft wash system. So I'm in the process of putting the soft wash system in now. That's about where it's going to sit, but a little closer to the wall when I move all my 12 volt stuff further up the wall. We've got 200 feet of intake hose, 250 feet of pressure, and 200 of soft right there. And on the lower level, we've got a 100-gallon buffer tank, and it's hooked up all with Fernco couplings. I like to keep the piping down close to the floor. I can isolate it with ball valves. Those are the two intakes for the pressure washers. This is my chemical tank, SH, and it goes directly to the 12-volt soft wash system. That little valve there lets me put antifreeze into this pipe. I can turn off the tank there. I can turn off the tank at the outlet, which you can't see to my right, and I can put a 5-gallon jug with a hose bib fitting there, and then the machines will suck it in out of that tank and let me antifreeze everything from one particular point. Everything sits up on a pallet. I wanted to spread the load across the trailer from left to right. Enough of that nonsense. 2 Hudson float valves. One float valve stops the tank fill at 50 gallons if I'm just doing like a house wash. Don't really need 100 gallons. Or if I'm doing something big, the forward Hudson valve shuts it off at probably about 95 gallons. And you can leave both of them on, it don't matter. It'll stop at 100 when it gets there. But I keep my surface cleaners up on the roof, and that way they are completely out of the way, because those things tangle up under your feet and get crazy. Just a couple of little slides that I built out of PVC, and you just pop those clips and out it goes. This guy rides around in the pickup truck right now. Of course, this is my same soft wash 12-volt system, 2 pumps. I've got a little distribution block there, so I can go from pump 1 or pump 2, and then the bottoms are just spares in case I come up with some other crazy idea to do with it. Might even tie this soft wash system into it, I'm not sure. This is just a little inexpensive Predator on an AR 25 pump. It's a 6.5 gallon a minute. Same PSI though, you can get up to 280 PSI with it. Just a little less flow. I work on well systems a lot. I live out in the country, and just didn't want to have a 10 gallon a minute machine just hogging water down. Little aluminum hose reel under there. There's my tank drain. Cruise around. Oh, I should show this to you. This is where I keep all my wands that roll around in this truck. They all stay right there. There's 2 in the pickup truck right now. This is cool because you don't forget your wands as much. When you're packing up and it's tired and it's late, you just look up there and see 4 holes, and there should be 4 rods, 1 in each hole. So if you got a rod in each hole, you know you put everything back away properly. But like I say, right now, 2 of them are in the truck. So we cruise around up here. Sorry for the finger. This is just a storage shelf that I bolted in. Very handy. Just lets me keep cuff. And you got to have places for just junk bins. So I got a couple of junk bins up there with, hats, gloves, respirators, wet wipes, hand sanitizer, blah, blah, blah. Folding ladder, 23-foot fold-up ladder, very handy. Put a coat rack in, since this trailer allowed me enough space to actually have quite a bit of open floor space. And I was trying to cut weight where I could. So I decided to put a bench over there that I can actually sit on, to put my boots on or put my rain suit on, change clothes, whatever you want to do. 2 6-gallon fuel tanks underneath. This is something that wasn't in my last video, I don't think. I chose to stack my pressure washers. I custom built a steel frame, and I've got a 5.5 gallon a minute general pump with a 18 horsepower V-twin, older Honda 610 series V-twin, but they were inexpensive and they run just fine, so no need to replace them. This is a 4 gallon a minute machine, general pump also, both are belt drive, and this is a also another 610 V-twin. I like the V-twins. They run kind of effortlessly. Yes, a 13 horsepower will run these pumps. I've seen it done before, but you hear it wailing along at full power, just screaming along, and I just don't like that. These things, you can back them down from full throttle just a tiny bit. When you let off the gun, the engine hardly makes a difference. It just, you can tell that you've let the trigger off or pulled the trigger, but again, not a huge deal. So I just like the way they just kind of effortlessly run. I've got them exhausted all the way through the floor. Let's see if I can get around here without giving people motion sickness. There you go. I've got a stainless steel pipe going down through the floor, and both of the machines are piped into that, so it gets all the exhaust gas out of here. The heat, I'm a big one for getting rid of heat. You'll notice that they're pointed right out the back of the trailer. So all the engine heat, cylinder heat is just blowing straight out this great big opening. And cold air's coming in this big door right here by the front of them. So they're really good about staying cool. The trailer doesn't get too hot, unless the wind's blowing the wrong way. It'll get slightly warm, but not a big deal. But anyway, this is my crazy thing. If you do stack these things, older 610s don't have as much vacuum in them because the piston rings get a little loose and sloppy. So you might have trouble pulling fuel up off of the floor, even though this thing's only 30 inches off the floor, maybe 36. I had trouble with this engine stalling out on me, so I put a little electric 12-volt fuel pump down here. It's just a 1.5 psi pump. It's made for like lawn tractors and things. They're available. And that pump kind of preloads just a tiny bit of pressure to come up to here, and then I left the factory pump in here, and it will run all day long, no problem at all. And you can wire them directly to the ignition. I got lazy and just put a little switch right there, so that it was just easy. I was in a hurry, so I got it done. But no big deal there. Of course, I got hour meters on my machines, and those also tell you RPM when it's running. So that's kind of nice. You can get those at Amazon for $10 a piece, no big deal. But I have them on, all of my machines have an hour meter somewhere on them, just personal preference. Let you know when to change oil and whatnot. Nothing terribly special about any of this other stuff. Of course, I've got crazy lights inside of here. I've got 120 volt LED lights, and I've also got 12 volt, the little lights are 12 volts. Those are operational all the time. Built a little switch panel with a voltmeter in it just for fun, so I can turn stuff on and off. It's got a USB charger, 12 volt sockets in case you need to charge your phone or something. I've got onboard battery chargers that constantly charge the batteries and keep them topped off. And whenever I'm home, I just have an extension cord that I plug into the outside of the trailer, and it just lights up this little 120 volt bar here. No crazy wiring. But that's the upgrades to the trailers. I stacked my machines for floor space, and I wanted to keep them pointed the same exact way so it gets the heat coming out the back. And it just makes them look good too, and they're easy to work with. I can just stand right there and put oil in the top one. I do need a belt guard. I know somebody might comment about that. It's kind of unsafe to have a belt guard not there. But I built that machine, piecemeal, and I just haven't found a belt guard for it yet. But it's in an isolated place, and I don't ever reach back there for anything, so it doesn't really bother me, and I don't have to worry about anybody getting in there because I work alone. But of course, the bottom one has a belt guard. But that's about it. Like I say, my little surface cleaner racks are very handy. Let's see what else in here. I've got a remote Downstream that I use for when I do want a downstream, and it just goes right here. I just put a couple of quick connects so I can get rid of it if I don't want it. 2 machines, 1 pressure reel. I just hook whichever machine I'm going to run to the hose reel through, again, these quick connects. I can just choose, 4 gallon a minute is the black hose, and Big Blue is my 5 gallon. That's the blue hose. And you just quick couple it right here, and it'll run through the same soap injector if I want it to. So I just choose which machine I want for the job, and I use 1 reel. That's 200 pounds of weight and $600 worth of hose by the time you get it all done. So I just didn't see the point in having 2 separate hoses when I work alone. And there's a 100-foot hose up in the front. So if I really wanted to, I can just pop a 100-foot hose on that, and I can have a second guy get 100 feet away from me while I'm still using the other machine. So in a pinch, I can run 2 people. Just you have 1 reel, and so that's no problem. And my other reel's in the truck, so it's easy to get to. But that's all the biggest changes I've done. Just a little update. Sorry for the serious monkey cam. I hope it's still enough that nobody's getting motion sickness out of it. When I get this gas-powered system figured out, I'm going to move all the 12-volt system is going to move up the wall higher, and then this system can go tighter up against the wall to give me a little more floor space here, because it's sitting out too far right now. No point in having 8 inches to wasted space. I'll run that swivel right up against the wall pretty much, and that will keep that machine as far out of the way as possible. But it's just something new to do. I think I mentioned before, I'm big on Fernco couplings when you're dealing with anything pressure washing. I like the ability for flexible. If I stomp on something, I can take a piece out in 10 seconds and put another piece in. If I want to change it, I can pop this stuff apart like an erector set, and make 1 little piece and reuse 2 other pieces just by cobbling Ferncos together. And that just makes it softer and easier, and you can kick it and move it out of the way, do whatever you have to do. But anyway, there's Valley Soft Wash's big rig. Take this to all my large commercial jobs, big flat surface jobs, larger house jobs. I prefer to work out of this when I can. Just the area I live in is, again, country, and we have a lot of squirrely driveways and houses up on steep hills, and just places that it's not appropriate to drag a trailer or to even try. And I've had to 4-wheel drive out of a couple of them with this thing. I got the truck mounted system that I can use for anything that has access issues. But if it's open access, I roll the trailer there and crank her up, and it's real nice to be able to work out of it. Everything is laid out in here that I operate it from outside the trailer. Once I pull up to the site, I make my water connections, I put my boots on, and that's the last time I get in the trailer. Everything else is 100% accessible from outside the trailer. And every control, every engine, choke them, start them, stop them, hose reels, remote injector, remote rope. It's right there. Everything I can reach, surface cleaners, wands, fittings. I made a little fitting rack to keep all my fittings on. I'm also big on cutting the pressure down with using larger fittings than you would expect to use. Like these are 6.5 gallon. That's as hard as I get on a 5 gallon machine. I don't get anything smaller than that. These are 12 gallon a minute nozzles. And so if you're going to soft wash, you need to cut that pressure down as low as possible, because it's all about the flow. So these 12 gallon a minute nozzles put out a nice gush of water, but there's just no power behind it. And so that's perfect for when you get in areas where you just don't want to be scorching up the siding or tearing something up. Back your nozzles down. These 4 gallon a minute nozzles, I keep these here mostly just for getting gum off of pavement, and because they're colored and they look nifty, so I put them there. And then these, I usually just, whatever I'm carrying around in my pockets, I try to keep putting back in there when I get them out of my pockets. But there you go. That's the changes I made this year, was stacking the machines and trying to put the new soft wash system in. But we keep on washing, guys, and have a good day.